Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my spring knitting project plans as well as some hopefully general spring knitting inspiration. I learned to knit about 6 or 7 months ago, so I haven't really had the chance to knit for warmer weather. Like, I've mainly focused on sweaters and wool fibers in the past. So now that the weather is warming up, I'm very excited about this whole new world of knitting. So some of these pieces are a little bit more for very warm spring days, borderline summer weather, so I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself because it's definitely still in like the middle to high teens where I'm living. But yeah, I'm really excited to share this list anyway. Let's get into tops first because I've actually already got a cast on, and that is the Ophelia tank and top. It has like multiple variations, so you can knit like the tank top version. There's also a version with sleeves and long sleeves, so it's a very versatile pattern. I decided to make the tank top version, and this is my progress so far. Okay, it's really difficult to show this. Yeah, like this. So this is the start of the sleeve and the like shoulder shaping, basically like the strap of the tank top that I'm working on now. And then this part is the back panel, like the upper back panel. And you do some increases at the bottom that are gonna form, I think like this is like under or around like the underarm armhole area. I started working on this maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and I've just been like non-stop knitting. I've found it really fun and enjoyable, and the pattern is so well written and so thorough and clear. It's really good for a beginner like me because there's links to like tutorials for every technique that you might be unfamiliar with. So it's just really thought out, and I've learned already how to do German short rows, which I was really like afraid of and couldn't understand in the past, but the explanation in the video just really demystified it and made it a lot easier. So I'm glad now that I've learned how to do that. And yeah, I just love the look of this tank top. I think it's so pretty and dainty with the lace detailing, and it also has a filet crochet kind of border as well, which I'm excited to learn. This is knit on 2.75mm needles as a recommended, but I'm using 3 because I didn't have 2.75 and I didn't want to go and buy some. But I think I'm pretty much meeting gauge. I didn't do a gauge swatch, but I did just kind of measure in this like panel where like 24 stitches, and that was about what I had for 4 inches. So it was working out. And I'm using the recommended yarn actually, which is Knitting for Olive, pure silk. And I got this cream color because a lot of the pieces I've been knitting recently have been very bright and not the most wearable after I've casted them off. So I'm going for something that I know I will wear, and I know that will pair with lots of fun outfits like some colorful skirts or even just jeans. I think this will look really cool. So yeah, maybe not the most wearable for the cooler spring days, but hopefully when it warms up I can wear this. And also silk is supposed to have good like insulating properties. It's supposed to be good for like most climates and weathers, so I feel like this is a good spring fiber. So yeah, I'm really excited to finish this and to wear it. Another project I've got the yarn for is the Drops Design No One But Me kind of cardigan slash top slash mohair overshirt. Like, I don't really know what to describe this as, but I'll put a picture on the screen. I saw Woozy by Celine post about this in her spring knitting plans, and that's what really got the cogs turning because I have a mohair that's almost the exact same color as the project photos. That's left over from my spot sweater that I'm working on right now. It just was a mohair that didn't really mesh well with the other colors of wool I had. So I have this extra ball of mohair in this beautiful lilac color. It's by Filcolana, the Tilia Soft Silk Mohair, which is really lovely. I don't have any sensitivity to it. I think it would make a really beautiful, dainty, nice little, yeah, like cover up to wear with a tank top like the Ophelia tank, for example. I can picture that outfit already in my head. I really like lots of the design elements of this, like having the buttons just at the top, but then having the rest of the, I'm gonna call it a cardigan, having the rest of the cardigan be open. And also the boat neckline is really pretty, and I never have thought of making something just out of mohair, but I think it would be such a nice layering piece and a great way to use up something I already have. Mind you, I will have to buy either 1 or 2 more balls of this, but I think it would be worth it. And this is knit on 3.5 and 3mm needles. The recommended yarn is Drops Kids Silk, and of course depending on your size, but I feel like for all of the sizes, since it's a short sleeve top with only 1 strand of mohair, you wouldn't need loads of materials, and it would be a great stash buster if you have a couple extra balls of mohair lying around. I am holding out on knitting this just for a little bit because I have had a look at the pattern and it's pretty bare bones. There's not lots of elaboration and lots of details, which is great if you're, very established and a very experienced knitter. But for me, I don't have lots of experience reading patterns, so I think I'll wait for this project a little bit. It also only has 6 projects on Ravelry, so there's not a lot of kind of other information online about it. So yeah, might hold off on this for a little bit, but definitely a project I'm keen to cast on eventually. Keeping on the tops theme and also the buttons theme, another top I'm really interested to make is the silhouette top by Likey Knit. This project has been like all over my Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I see why, because it's so interesting and beautiful. I haven't seen many tops just in shops with this like many buttons and like there's many small buttons all the way buttoned to the top. I think it is really interesting and really striking. I would be super interested in making this like very similar to the project photos with like little iridescent buttons and probably also a very wearable kind of cream or grey colour, because I think I would get the most wear out of it that way. But yeah, this is just really beautiful. I love the short sleeves. I love the high neckline. I think it would be very comfortable and wearable, something you can dress up or down. It's knit using 4mm needles and a bamboo yarn. And I'm definitely intrigued by also trying out bamboo yarn. I've heard it's really soft and not itchy at all for people with sensitivity. So I might also even buy the recommended yarn for this project too. I have lots of projects on my queue, but I think this one is pretty high up on my to knit list next, just because I know I will get so much wear out of it, and I just am really excited to like own this piece. Like I just want to have it. So yeah. I think that's all for tops. Moving on to my only vest. This is the LT by Vicky Millette. I saw this on TikTok originally and I really loved the way it was styled. It was just worn, I think I saw the green one. It was just worn on its own with a pair of jeans and it looked extremely wearable but also really cool. I just think this like use of mohair to create like this mesh at the top of the chest is really innovative and interesting. I don't actually own any vests, I think, in my wardrobe, so I was surprised that I was drawn so much to this, but I think it's just a very versatile, perfect for spring item, because you can wear it on its own on those warmer spring days, but then you can also layer it with a like white or black or any other color long sleeve shirt underneath. And yeah, just another fun layering piece. I feel like spring is all about layers. It's knit using 5 and 8mm needles. I imagine 5mm needles for the body and then 8mm for like the mesh mohair part on top, but I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it would work up fairly quickly. It's really hard to say what color I want to knit this in, because I think it would be fun to go for like a more vibrant, bold color, but then also I feel like a more neutral color would pair well with other kind of underlayers and long sleeve shirts underneath. So yeah, I'm a bit at a loss, but if I had to go based on the project photos, I think I'm most drawn to like this green color. I think that's really fun. So we'll see. Moving on to sweaters and cardigans and long sleeve kind of knitwear. I don't have many items in this category, I think because I've been knitting a couple sweaters right now and I'm just ready to kind of switch it up a little bit. But I came across this beautiful cardigan on my Instagram explore page by the designer, I don't know if this is her design name or just her Instagram handle, but Simstrick. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm pretty sure she is a Swedish or Norwegian, I think Norwegian knitwear designer. I really am into especially like the asymmetrical closure of this. I came across a like asymmetrical jacket in mango which had the buttons on the right side as opposed to like in the middle, and I think it just gave such a like unique design to it and made it a bit more interesting and yeah, just like unique. So I really am drawn to this for the same reason. I think it just adds a bit of something. And I also love the closure. I think like whatever, it's like a clasp with some description, like a little metal clasp is just so beautiful, and I'd be really interested in trying to find something similar. I might be wrong, but I don't know if the pattern is available on its own yet. I need to look into that a little bit more, because I think it might just be available as a kit with a yarn shop that only ships in Norway, unfortunately. But in any case, I think the designer is still working on putting out a pattern. So when this eventually is out to everyone, I would be super interested in casting this on. I'm not sure what yarn or the color of yarn I'd want to use for this. I haven't done much research, so I'm not even sure of the needle size or the recommended yarn. But definitely something to think about and something that's on my radar for sure. Another project in this category is the Zella cardigan by Feminit, I want to say. I've also seen this all over the place, and it also incorporates this asymmetrical kind of design as well as buttons, so it's kind of hitting all of my yeah, the things I'm into right now. There are lots of things that I really like about this. The boat neckline, the ribbing. I love how all of the buttons are slightly different colors. I think that's a really easy way to bring in a bit more color into a garment in a more understated way. And I think it would just be an absolute blast to find the buttons for this and to arrange them. And yeah, I need to actually start keeping my eye out for buttons in like thrift stores and stuff, because I don't have any in my collection. And if I want to be making all of these buttoned pieces, I need to start, yeah, acquiring some buttons. But yeah, I feel like there's not too much more to say about this. It's kind of similar to some of the other pieces I've talked about before. But a absolutely beautiful design, and also a design I think that is well loved by a lot of people. I've seen lots of variations of this, and I think, yeah, for color I would go for the black as well, with like the colored buttons. I don't have many black items of clothing in my wardrobe, and I do really enjoy wearing black, so I think this would be a perfect addition to my wardrobe. Moving on, I have one scarf, which I know might be a bit too warm for spring weather, but I came across this recently and I just had to share it. This is by the same designer who made the Ophelia tank top, Starcross Knits or Tamara Jordan. This is really niche, but it reminds me of the game Quirkle. I don't even really know how to describe it. It's kind of like Scrabble, but it's with like patterns and shapes and colors. But the star motif and the colors just reminded me of that game. And I just think this is such a fun design, and it would just spice up any outfit. I would definitely want to make it in like exactly the same color scheme. I think, yeah, the colors work really well together, but they're not something I would have thought to pair together. But I'm really into the finished look. She also suggested as a good color work project for beginners, because you're not really having to do any increases or decreases or shaping that you would have to do with a garment. It's just a simple, long rectangle basically, so it would be a good way to really practice your color work. I don't know if I'll get to cast this on this spring, just because I have so many projects on my radar and I feel like the weather is warming up too quickly for me to be able to knit this in time, but something I wanted to share anyway. Another project that is a little bit seasonally confused are these shorts from Loopy Studio. I don't think a pattern is officially out, but it's being tested and it's in the works, so it will be out shortly, I imagine. But I really love the idea of making more knitted bottom wear. I only really made, tops and sweaters in the past, so I want to venture into that whole world. And I think this would be a great place to start, because it does look like it's knit in a bit of a thicker gauge, and they're smaller shorts, so they wouldn't take forever to knit, I don't imagine. I love all of the attention to detail with these shorts, like the thick waistband with the little buttons I think is so fun and would be really enjoyable to pick your own buttons and customize that aspect of it. I also love the ribbing around the bottom. They don't look like they'd be too tight or like too loose. They're like a good kind of perfect in between. I think I would probably lengthen them a little bit just because I don't know how wearable this length would be for me, but I do think if I lengthen them I would wear them a ton. Even just around the house, these look like they would be such a comfy lounge short, and would be perfect for like those warmer spring venturing into summer days. So yeah, super excited about this project as well. I like the multicolored yarn used in the project photos, and I recently came across this type of yarn by the brand Lang Yarns. It's their Illusion collection, and they just have really beautiful different like multicolored yarns which look very similar to the project photos. Looking at the swatches now, I don't know which color I would go for. I think they're all super beautiful, and I would also be interested in using this fiber for other projects as well. I'm pretty sure it's 100% bamboo, so it'd be nice and breathable for spring and summer knitwear. That's actually it for my spring knitting plans. I feel like I overwhelmed myself a little bit with my last winter knitting project plan video. This time I accumulated my list over a couple of weeks and really pondered and sat with all these items, and I feel like I have a good amount of inspiration to, feasibility ratio, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I can take a couple of these off in the next couple of months. Let me know what you're knitting down below, and if it's spring for you as well, what your plans are for this season. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you want to stay tuned on these projects. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video.